Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another daily live webcast called Jenn Cast. Happens every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, here on yfelive.com. Today's show is all about Thematic Thursday. Every Thursday, we pick a theme and we talk about it. Today's theme is healthy snacks. We're going to be joined by Sarah Wither. She's one of my favorite food bloggers. She's over at bysarahray.com. I love following her on Instagram. It always makes me super hungry. Does not help that I am pregnant. But Sarah's going to talk to us about healthy snacks and how to make sure that while we're at our desk and we're snacking, stressed, whatever, that it is not harming us in any way. Well, maybe some of them sound pretty sinful, but I bet they're still healthy. So anyway, I'm your host, Jennifer Donogh. I'm going to be joined by Sarah shortly. Again, you're watching the daily live webcast called Jenn Cast here on yfelive.com. We're on episode, I believe this is 47, and you can find all of our past episodes on iTunes in both video and audio format on YouTube. And then, of course, sign up for yfe.me/mailed to find out more about what's going on with young female entrepreneurs. Tonight, we actually have YFE Chat Live here on yfelive.com featuring horse feather gifts. Chelsea, one of the founders of a mother-daughter duo who Gary Vaynerchuk recently said he loves their Facebook feed. So I'm excited to find out more about why he loves their Facebook feed tonight. But let's go ahead and get into talking about healthy snacks with Sarah. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
So tell us about at By Sarah Ray, bysarahray.com, the food blog that you do. When did you start doing that?
It was probably about 4 years ago. It wasn't always called By Sarah Ray. Originally, it was actually called foodandfrederick.com. Frederick is the name of the city that I live in. We weirdly have a nationally known food scene here, thanks to our celebrity chef, Brian Voltaggio. He was on Top Chef a couple times. And just through that, and people started noticing, we have a lot of really good food here. And I was recently out of college and kind of starting to cook my own food. And I think one day at work, I actually stumbled across The Kitchen, the blog, and was really inspired and just kind of went home and decided I was going to start doing that too.
And when was that you decided?
It was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
The site's really impressive, and you have a good following, too, as far as people that love to see what you're doing, what you're cooking up. But what's really cool is that what you've spun is, was it the blog first, or was the food tours?
The blog came first.
Okay, because that's what I thought was so cool. So, like you said, Frederick has a nice little food following there, and you do Taste Frederick food tours. So tell us more about that one, too.
It's exactly what it sounds like. We do, but I mean, it is. We do walking food tours of downtown Frederick. It is a historic area. There's a lot of Civil War history here, some Revolutionary War history. So we kind of combine the best of both worlds. There's a lot of fun facts, but along the way, we're stopping at the local restaurants and some of the local food shops, and we're tasting. So by the end, everyone's had a complete lunch. We start with pizza and beer right now, and we end with chocolate.
Ooh. And do you do that all seasons? I mean, is this something that is year-round, or is it primarily in the summer?
Almost year-round. This is actually this is actually only our third season. We started in 2012, and that one was only about like half of a season just because we didn't start until June. And then last year we did March through November. We stopped right before Thanksgiving just because it gets a little busy where I live around the holidays, and that gave us kind of a chance to breathe. And then we weren't planning on it, but we had enough interest that 2014, we started the beginning of January.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks. So it's exciting.
That's so fun. I always wondered how do you start something like that? Whenever my husband and I would go on vacation, you always see, tour guides and people with like the signs. And I always thought that was such a cool way to make some extra money on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Sarah, you've prepared some healthy snacks for us because it is Thematic Thursday, and our theme today is healthy snacks. And you are someone that I feel like has a real knack for creating food that's pretty. So it feels like you're treating yourself, but also keeping it pretty healthy. So let's talk about this first one. Your first healthy snack that you suggest we check out is Beet Chips. Now, this is one I would have never thought of putting together.
Yes, well, I wouldn't have thought of that either. I mean, I had made homemade potato chips before with, regular potatoes, and I'd even tried sweet potatoes. But at the time, I was actually doing this thing called the Food Matters Project. It was the Mark Bittman cookbook, Food Matters. Some other bloggers kind of put together this whole movement to have a whole bunch of bloggers just cook through his cookbook. And that was one of the ones that someone else picked. And I was like, really? I don't really know if I like beets. I like them now. But when you roast vegetables, it a lot of times makes them extra sweet. So they don't really taste as earthy as they usually do. And some people think beets taste like dirt. But this really helps. Plus, you add a little bit of salt, a little olive oil, so there's some healthy fat. And they just get crispy. You got to use a mandolin to get them nice and thin. But they're really delicious, especially if you like anything, sweet and savory.
So the beet chips is like, if I don't have a dehydrator, I just put them in the oven at a certain temperature, and then because that's kind of like what I do for kale chips, and they always feel a little soggy. Do you have any
I'm not
tips on
really
how
good
to
at making kale chips, and I don't know why. I either burn them or they are a little soggy.
That's exactly my thing. It's so irritating.
When I make potato chips, and I've even done this in the microwave, it really comes down to, I really think it's flipping them enough times. So no side gets a chance to get too crispy before the other one gets a chance. So
that's a good tip.
Tossing them a couple more times than you might think is necessary.
I like that tip. I'll have to try it again. So Sarah, the next tip that you had, or the next healthy snack, was Stovetop Popcorn. And I actually got Giada Laurentis, her new cookbook, and she talks about popcorn as being a really healthy snack. So tell us more about this Stovetop Popcorn that you have popped up.
Yes. I really like fake buttered popcorn. I'm not going to lie, when I go to the movie theater, I have a really hard time saying no. That being said, I had never tried freshly popped popcorn before, and it really tastes different. It's better. I don't know why. I don't get it, but it's delicious, and it's really easy. I just do it in a small, a fairly large, stock pot. You throw some butter or some olive oil, and you heat it up. And when you think it's hot enough, you put the oil or the butter in, and just one kernel of popcorn. And when that one pops, to put the rest in. And then you just kind of sit there and shake the pot a little bit to prevent any of it from getting burnt until it's all done. And then, it's already buttered. You just toss it with a little bit of salt, or some of my favorite flavoring combinations are, maple syrup. We've done truffle salt before, or Old Bay is a regional spice mix that we're big fans of. They put it on crabs here.
That sounds really good.
But it's really easy, and there's nothing fake in it, which is what really bothers me about microwave popcorn, that I don't know what's in that.
And I think that's, I started doing the popcorn last year because my mom, who I'm a business partner with, she makes it when we're in the office, and she puts it on the stove, and she's also a food blogger too, so she's always trying out new things. And she did the Giada thing where it's alder, do you know what I'm talking about? Alder smoked salt or something like that. So she's getting into the fancy gourmet salts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone just opened a gourmet salt shop here.
Seriously?
And I got to go and talk to her, and there's some fancy black sea salt I've got upstairs. There's a lime fresco that would probably go really well with a margarita or fish. And then there's an applewood smoked that has been really good on some meat we've had recently.
So you can do things that are healthy and natural and still add some fun flavors to it too. I need to remember that. I think pregnancy, I was so healthy. Sarah, I wasn't eating sugar. I was doing so many good things before I got pregnant, and then I got pregnant, and I swear, I don't care. So, I need to start caring again, though, because it feels better when you eat things like that, when you eat healthy snacks. So the next one that you said is smoothies, and this one in particular is apple, strawberry, coconut smoothie. I love coconut smoothies.
I like coconut in anything.
Seriously?
I'm pretty sure it's one of those things my fiance is pretty soon going to be like, Sarah, you need to calm it down a little bit. But he he gets fed, so he doesn't really get to complain.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one, it's really easy. It's an apple, some strawberries, water, and flaked coconut, and it's really pretty. So if you want something nice and pink, and it's really refreshing.
I love all of the fancy straws that you use too. You food
That's
bloggers love to do that. Where do you get these fancy straws? Am I the only one that doesn't know where these cute straws are?
I've gotten them at Target. I've ordered them off of Etsy. They're everywhere now.
I'll have to find some. So what type of blender do you use to make your smoothies too?
We have a Vitamix, so it's a little fancy. I will say it was worth every penny because we use it every day. Sometimes I use it 2 or 3 times a day.
Well, that's what I've heard from people, is that it's worth the investment because you really do use it a lot and it lasts for a long time. Is there some kind of like warranty on it too? I
think there is. Rob, my fiance, he would know better because he actually is the one that actually picked it out. But I'm pretty sure there's some sort of warranty, or if you ever need to have like the blades replaced, they do it for you. Nice. So they're definitely built to last.
Yeah, see, that's another thing that we have. So we have a studio and office that we work out of, and like I said, my business partner, my mom, is a food blogger, and so she's always trying up new things, and we do have a little smoothie booth that she has, and we use the Philosophy powders too. Have you ever tried those?
I haven't.
It's by @Philosophy Mama. She is Sophie, and so good. They're like superfood, and there's the berry one, there's a green one, and a cacao one. Really, really good to add into your smoothies. So the next one, I actually just saw you post on Instagram, I think not too long ago, of this, was the Handful Trail Mix. It's cashew, cacao, and goji berry.
Yeah, that was just what I had on hand that day. Cashews are they're my favorite nut. And, you can't go wrong with chocolate and fruit. But I felt really good eating it because gojis, and cacao are both just so full of, antioxidants. And I think I've heard it referenced, like gojis are some of the most nutritionally dense food on the planet. And yet I have a raging sweet tooth, so I'm still kind of satisfying that without eating anything horribly bad for me.
Well, see, my thing with goji berries is that I just cannot stand the taste.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is about it, but it really makes me want to vomit when I eat them.
Some dried cherries in there instead. Some tart dried cherries. Those are really good for you too.
That's a good idea. Well, and the cacao chips too. Where do you get those? So it's like actual cacao, not like the semi-sweet chocolate chips, and I know there's one other like vegan type thing that you get in the dispenser.
Yeah, the carob chips.
Yeah, carob chips. So where do you get cacao chips?
I got them. We have a local health food store. It's actually a co-op, which is kind of cool. But I would think you could find them at Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, or we have something called Mom's My Organic Market here. Any place like that.
Very cool. So Sarah, your last your last healthy snack is one that I am super excited to hear about. Cookie dough is something, as a pregnant woman, I think of as being awesome. So raw cookie dough bites. What is this? I mean, it can't really be cookie dough, right?
It's not really cookie dough. I found these, the brilliance of Pinterest. I found these on there, and it's almonds, some raw, just rolled oats. I think they're rolled. It's in the post. Agave, a little vanilla, and I actually add vanilla protein powder to mine.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So it's a kind of even better. And then you throw it in a food processor, or I use the Vitamix, and you mix it all up, and it really does come together like dough. Then you dump it in a bowl. You kind of mix in the cacao chips, and then you just roll it into 8 or 9 small balls, and you eat 2 of them for a snack, and I swear it really tastes just like cookie dough.
Well, it's funny, my mom makes again, I'm talking a lot about my mom. I promise, she's my business partner. So she makes this too, but she uses cashew. So what's the difference between almond and cashew?
I actually made some with cashews this morning also. I made both, and they both turned out great.
Well, I love this, and I'll have to do more of it. So, Sarah, I'll make sure that everyone that if you're watching this, I'll include all the links back to her blog so you get the recipes and you can see all of the photos. But Sarah, thank you so much for sharing all of these with us. So, is there anything big that's happening with you and your tours or the blog that we should know about?
Not really. We're just kind of ramping up for the tour season. We're not doing quite as many. Come March, they'll be available, 5 days a week, Wednesday through Sunday. I've got a great group of tour guides who are working with me now, which is a lot of fun. There should be a new tour offering sometime in the next couple months. Don't want to give too much away. But if you're at all interested in learning more about my food tour or food tours in general, you can visit me at tastefrederickfoodtours.com. But that's the business website. You can also get there through the blog.
Awesome.
Well, on there.
Sarah, I'm so excited for you. It's been so much fun to watch everything that you're doing. And like I said, I'm a big fan of your Instagrams and your blog in general and all the recipes that you cook up. So one more time, where can people find the blog, your food tours, and definitely point them to your Instagram too?
Yes. So my blog is bysarahray.com. The food tour is tastefrederickfoodtours.com. And on Twitter, it's just at @bysarahray. On Instagram, it's at @by_SarahRay because I wish it wasn't, but it is different and I can't do anything about it. So that's where you can find me on Instagram. But I would love to, continue sharing recipes with anyone who's interested. So please reach out, or if there's a recipe that you're thinking about or you have questions about. I love talking about food. That's all I do all day long. So hit me up.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, have a great day. So everyone, you've just been watching at By Sarah Ray, Sarah Withers over at bysarahray.com, and also, of course, with Frederick Food Tours. So excited to finally get her on the show and talk about the healthy snacks. If you try one out, or if you like something that she's talked about, make sure that you leave a comment below this video. Otherwise, hope to see you back here tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for YFE Chat Live featuring horse feather gifts. Thanks everyone for watching. This has been Jennifer Donogh. Hope to see you back here again soon.